Well, this week we're coming to you from our Hastings, Nebraska site. We're in our southeast field where we have 40 hybrids on display. We're able to plant those at different populations. We change our population going down, reverse that coming back up to the top of the field, and that kind of leads into one of the things I want to talk about. With this recent rain, we're getting close to that finish line. I know everybody's excited. I've already had a couple growers ask if we're done irrigating. The answer to that is not necessarily, probably no. We'll see what happens here. We probably have another couple weeks to black layer, depending on your maturity of corn and your planting date. So, 1 to 2 weeks before we start seeing that black layer set in, but obviously we're getting close. So, great time to go out and continue to look at fields. I just wanted to show a couple things here that you can pick up on when you're walking fields. I was putting on a plot tour in South Dakota here this last week. Don't forget your tape measures, guys. The grower claimed he planted it at 28,000, which I went out there, did a stand count, and I would agree. But we had some double drops and we had some late emergers. And when we got down to the final ear count of what was a good, consistent ear that's going to produce, we only had about 20,000 ears. And so if you're running your yield formula, assuming you have 28,000 ears, but you only have 20, you can see where there's going to be a big disappointment under those circumstances. So you can still go out, find where you had late emergers, maybe some double drops, and you'll see those ears that maybe haven't quite developed. In our case, we had some wind damage, so looking at those lodged plants, that's cutting into yield. So look at that. The other thing we point out here is difference population can make. Same hybrid, planted at 30,000 versus 36,000. You see the tip back on the 36,000, and a lot of times we would assume that's a bad thing. But when you look at the total amount of a grain, one of the things we'll do with all our Prairie Valley, Brevant, and NK hybrids down here is weigh them out. And sometimes a smaller ear with a tip back at 36,000 will outproduce the bigger ears at 30,000. So depending on the hybrid, we learn different things down here. So if you've got stuff out of different populations, look at that, evaluate that. But know your final ear count with your tape. Looking at your overall plant health. We talk a lot about splitting stalks. Another way is just go out there and do a push test. Just push that plant over. Make sure you don't have any stalk disease or weakening of the stalks. If we start seeing that, move that one to the top of the list come harvest time. And then finally on soybeans, we're still chasing soybeans. These are our furthest along soybeans. You can see we have pods that are filling real nicely here, but still a little ways to go. So on a 2.6 bean, we've got a little more work to do here, but very happy with how the beans are filling out. All in all, walking fields the last few weeks, the parts of South Dakota I was in were pretty dry. Probably too late for a rain to really help the corn. Still needing to get them a rain for their soybeans. Here in Nebraska, we have those pockets. We have some areas that have been very blessed with rain. So it's really a mixed bag. All in all, the crop looks good, guys. So very optimistic come harvest time about what we're going to see in a lot of these fields. But if you ever run into a field and you're disappointed, sometimes you got to go back to what do you have for actual ears? What do you have for a stand count? What do we have for pods and nodes? Understanding those things, taking ears, understanding, when we pop them open, what's our kernel depth? All those little things will affect yield. So this is a time I enjoy, going to plot tours, putting on plot tours. We invite you to Owner's Acres here in 2 weeks when we'll be able to walk through some of the lessons we've learned there, have some of these agronomic discussions one-on-one with you in person instead of through the lens of a camera. So looking forward to that. That stuff will be posted on social media. Please get signed up, and we'll see you hopefully in 2 weeks.